Wow. Please sit down. How's everybody doing? I know a lot of you are here, and I'm going to be very, very quickly. Again, my name is Robert Hollis, but I first want to thank my dear friend Fred Herzog. One of the things that's pretty amazing about Fred is Fred and I and his family and my family went on 6 vacations together last year. Now, it wasn't a weekend either. Okay, so how many people in this room would like to take all their friends and family to vacations, and guess what? They keep fighting you for the check on things. So there is a lot of things people always go, well, listen, is this all about money? No, this is about making your family and friends wealthy so they can pay for everything. Okay, all right. So again, my name is Robert Hollis, and what I'm going to do for the new people there in this room, thank you for coming here, and for the people that are watching this, all I want you to do to really quickly is just open up your mind. I mean, how many people in this room or on this video actually brought somebody that knows everything? It's always funny to me that people know everything, but you look at their lifestyle and you can tell they don't know everything. You can tell by the vehicle they drive, where they live, what they don't have in their bank account. And all I want to tell you is that 24 years ago, I got introduced to this, and I was sitting in an audience just like you guys. And I had my arms crossed. How many people in this room are willing to admit they have an ego? Okay, ego stands for, EGO stands for edging God out. And all I can tell you is that I was in a position where I sat in the back of the room and I was an auto mechanic from North Dakota. Now, how many people in this room know if I'm an auto mechanic from North Dakota and I can pull this off, that you can do it too? And I'm telling you, you can. But guess what? You got to open up your mind. Your mind's like a parachute. And it's only when your mind opens up that you can actually gather some new information. So what I'm going to do is share with you exactly what happened to me 24 years ago. It's going to be a little more high tech, but you're going to see exactly what I've seen. And I hope that some of you go, wow, that makes sense. Now, the first thing you got to do to open up your mind, and I pray that every one of you do not get in this situation, but how many people in this room have ever been at the right place at the right time? Very few hands. One of them is today. I can guarantee you one of them is today. And I'll talk about that. But the one thing is that how many people in this room have been at the wrong place at the wrong time? All right? Let me tell you a little bit about me. All I ever did was do exactly what I was told to do to be successful. Now, I know that some of you that are watching this, you're going, listen, I was taught how to be successful. All you need to do is go to school and get good grades. Now, I was one of those guys that figured out really early that people that had A pluses advanced, and people with D minuses advanced. So why work so hard? How many people have tried that one? That's what I did. And I was told then go to school. I didn't feel like I was that good at school. So what I did is I picked a trade school and decided to be an auto mechanic. And all I did is went out there and found a good job and then worked really, 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 really hard. Now, how many people in this room have ever can remember going to your first job? Okay? Can you remember how excited you were? I mean, I got there early. I took no breaks. I took a half-hour lunch. I stayed later. And I knew if I worked harder than everybody, that guess what? My supervisor, my boss would recognize my efforts, and I would slide through this promotions and go all the way to the top. I would get raises. I would get promotions. I would get, extra weekends off. How many people have tried this? And being at the wrong place at the wrong time, right over here in Glendale, California, at a place called Johnny Lael Toyota. I was working as a mechanic, and a van slipped off a hoist, and to show you how intelligent I am, I tried to stop it. It didn't work. My back went against my toolbox, and it landed on my knee and totally hyperextended my knee. It tore all my ligaments. All I can remember about that is when I went to the hospital in the ambulance and the doctor looked at it, and when he put his hand on my pants, that was like a tourniquet. And he said, you know what? Oh my God, you're in trouble. Now, how many people want to hear that from a doctor? And I was in shock and a little bit of panic, and what ended up happening is I had to go on workman's comp. Now, how many people in this room, I'm not asking you to raise your hand here, but when you're in bad financial situations, you become very open-minded. It shreds the ego a little bit. And so I was okay for, 30 days and 60 days. Then 90 days, all of a sudden, the bill collectors start calling. And banks don't care how good you did before. It's what you did last month. How many people know what I'm talking about? And all of a sudden it became, these bill collectors are calling me up. Well, when can you expect to get us some money? And I said, as soon as I get some. And I hope that none of the people here in this room have to deal with bill collectors. But I started getting to the point where they would call me. And I'd say, hey, listen, is there any way you could call me tomorrow at 7:30? And they go, why? And I said, well, I got my electricity cut off, and if you call me, it'll wake me up so I can go to a job interview. Of course, they didn't like that, you know what I mean? But it went into 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Then they went in and did an MRI, found out that they didn't get it totally fixed, and I had to go through another surgery. So now, how many people in this room, if your main source of income, I went from, $4,000, $5,000 a month, take home to $900. And I started losing everything. And I just pray to God, and I mean this for everyone that's watching this, I pray to God you never wait to make a decision until it gets that bad. Because here was the breaking point for me. All I was doing is driving home. I picked my son up, which is here today. 26, will be 27 in a couple of days. And I was driving him home, and I pulled over to the shoulder of the road, and I stopped. And I didn't know how to explain to my 6-year-old son. He looked at me and he said, Dad, if you just go up a couple more blocks and hang a left, our apartment's right there. And I didn't know how to tell my son that I was hiding the car from the repo man. And I pray to God that some of you in this room, something snaps before you get to that position. And I don't know what happened, but I drew a line in the sand. I said, you know what? No more. No more am I going to settle for second best. And I stopped doing that stuff that a lot of people are watching is doing. I was blaming the world. I was a victim. Oh my God, why does this have to happen to me? Oh, my life is so bad. And I finally said, no more. And it was the second that I drew that line in the sand that someone called me up and said, listen, you need to take a look at this. I'm really excited about it. I wasn't one of those people that said, what is it? Because I was open-minded. I said, listen, tell me about it. He says, I bet this guy's making 60 grand a month. I said, I'll come pick you up. How many people in this room know what I'm talking about? When you get at a right time in your life, everything starts to click.